the end. The end of the path I started us on.
Nothing lasts forever.
Avengers, Age of Ultron.
That song. Pinocchio was a good character.
Week of Ultron.
Okay. Week of Ultron. Yep. This is the follow-up to the original Avengers in 2012.
They messed up the storyline.
Okay.
So
Hey. You can't be jumping to the opinions. You gotta wait.
Well, I'm kind of new with this stuff.
Yeah. So follow my lead. I'll give you your piece, and I'll give Captain Eagle his piece. Okay? Sorry, this is brother's trying to get into the podcast now, so he got to learn some things. Anyway, so this is the follow-up to the 2012 Avengers film. Safe to say, everyone was excited for a sequel to Avengers. Everyone was excited. We're waiting for all these characters from the original film to just come back and go on some missions together, work together as a team. Just the thing that they were building up for so long, we were just drooling at the mouth for a follow-up to this, and we're finally getting it. Now, a lot of people thought that the sequel we're going to jump right into Thanos because of the end credit scene in the first Avengers, but no, they're saving him for the next film. So instead, they decide to touch on another huge villain in the Avengers universe, Ultron. I'll tell you right now, Ultron is one of my favorite villains in the Avengers universe. Like, even though I didn't care too much about the Avengers as I established in my Avengers review, Ultron I thought was a great villain. Even though he's just a robot, he doesn't have a lot of emotions. But what really worked for me is how cerebral and how dark and how intimidating he is. It's like, and plus you can feel like his motivations for destroying mankind. You can actually kind of side with his motivations because of how corrupted the country and the overall world is. And so for him wanting to wipe out humanity, you're like, you know what? I don't blame you. And this is called coming from a robot. A robot is able to invoke all these emotions, intimidation, all that type of stuff. So, when I saw the trailer for this film, you remember, Cap, I was so excited. This was going to be the Empire Strikes Back of the Avengers. This looked dark. This looked like twisted. This looked like more of an imposing threat than Loki ever was. It looked like it was going to challenge the Avengers in ways that we would have never seen before. We were going to see the Avengers shattered. We're going to have 2 more Avengers members in Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. It was just going to be full jam-packed. We're going to see the Hulkbuster fight the Hulk for the first time.
Cool. That was super cool, bro.
Yeah, we will get to that in a second, but it just seemed like this movie was going to have everything we wanted in a sequel. Even that Pinocchio theme in the trailer. Yeah,
Love Pinocchio.
It's some Disney stuff for sure, because Marvel is owned by Disney. But you know what? That was a good choice for that trailer, and it got me hyped. And all the trailers after that got me hyped. So I remember we saw this out in a midnight premiere. I was ready for this crap. And walking out this theater, I was like,
What?
Yeah. Age of Ultron is just fine.
But you said some cool stuff in the beginning.
Yes, I'm talking about my initial thoughts before I watched it. Before I watched it, I thought it was going to be great, and I was ready for it to be great. But walking out of this theater, I'm like, yeah, I didn't love that.
You didn't love that.
No, I didn't love that.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Like, no, it's just I was a bit disappointed. It's not bad. It's just not great. It's not as good as the first film by quite a bit. But we'll get into the details why. Captain Eagle, how did you feel about Avengers Week of Ultron?
Yeah, definitely was kind of disappointing. Yeah, not on par with the original. I had known of the character of Ultron prior to them announcing this movie, so when I heard it was Ultron, I was like, oh, sweet. We're going to be able to see this badass robot. Because, yeah, he's supposed to be like this, like, dark, like, twisted character, right?
Yep. Freaking OP, just freaking scary. He has no emotion, but you're scared as hell from this robot. It's like he's so powerful, so OP. It's like, yeah.
I didn't get that with this.
Yeah.
He was very underwhelming for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this movie was just a disappointment. It wasn't all bad, but it wasn't really good either.
Yeah, so alright, Colin, what did you think about Age of Ultron?
Okay, I'm sad with you guys, but it was actually pretty good with all the Ultron stuff. But I wanted like Hank Pym to build it, but I know they can't because they didn't make the Ant-Man movie yet. But since Tony Stark made them, I wanted Tony Stark and Ultron to merge like in the comics. Like if he was a one-time villain, I wanted him to merge. Like, but if he shows in another movie, I wanted them to merge there, but not in the first one. He turned out to be a first-time movie since Scarlet Witch killed her. So it was pretty decent in my case.
I wish it had been Hank Pym who had created Ultron, because that would have been a good lead-in for, the next film being Ant-Man. But, this just gets added to the list of stupid things Tony Stark does.
Yeah, I was kind of scratching my head when I saw that Hank Pym would have nothing to do with the Ultron project, because he does make it in the comic books, and I'm surprised that Ant-Man didn't even come before Age of Ultron.
Yeah, it seemed like those two should have been flipped.
Should have been split, but instead they decided to make Hank Pym an older character, like when Howard Stark was alive, which I'm like, oh man, okay, whatever. But yeah, just like you said, it just added to the list of stupid decisions that Iron Man does. So I'll say the movie started off really good for me, even though you have a specific problem in the movie.
No, but like the leading action sequences, like they're all together doing stuff. Yeah, it was a great start.
Hydra.
Yep. So that's definitely how I wanted it to open. The Avengers working in sync in the forest, fighting Hydra. That was great. That was one of the best moments of the film, the very beginning. This is exactly how I wanted it to open, and we cut to Baron Strucker in the forest, and Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are there. That's our official introductions to these two characters. What did you think about Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, Cap?
They were cool. I liked them. I'm trying to think. At this point, I hadn't seen Days of Future Past yet, so
right.
This was my first time seeing Quicksilver on film. Yeah, I thought they were both cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoy them together. I definitely think I don't mind Quicksilver, he's fine, but it's obvious to me that Scarlet Witch is the better character.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just there wasn't really too much to him. He's just being the cocky douche for the most part, and then you could feel like Scarlet Witch has more of an emotional weight to her. I already watched Days of Future Past at this point, and I do think personally that the Quicksilver in the X-Men films are better than this Quicksilver. But
Yeah, after seeing those X-Men movies, I do think that the X-Men Quicksilver is better
Yeah.
than this one.
what do you think about Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch?
I wanted them to be mutants.
I
Yeah,
wanted
they
them to
could,
be
though.
mutants too, but they didn't own X-Men, so
Yeah, what were they labeled as?
oh, they're
How
just
they get their powers?
they're
Or
just
experiments?
meta-humans experiments. Yeah, yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
I really loved like Quicksilver. He's like my favorite mutant besides Cyclops. So he was pretty cool. But it is a shame that what happened to him. I can't explain it now because we were like in the beginning, so I can't explain it now. But Scarlet was okay. She's like the twin that can't control her power, so she needs Quicksilver to guide him through. Since he's the older brother, he knows a little bit best about his powers and himself. But sometimes he doesn't know what to do, and he just goes all out. That's why I love him. He's like me, so that's why I love him so much.
Okay, so like I said, that overall sequence in the beginning was really cool. You could feel like the chemistry between all the Avengers is for the most part the same as the first film, and then there's the ongoing joke that freaking Stark hits like the top of a building and he goes shit, and then Cap goes language, and just like that's an ongoing joke for the rest of the film. So that little touches like that I think are.
And I wanted
nice.
that to be a meme.
I'm sure that is a meme somewhere. But yeah. Now, funny that we see Iron Man in a suit again, even though
He blew all his suits up. That's surprising. I don't know how. Well, maybe he just built another one.
Oh, and look, they're all of a sudden durable again.
Hey!
Yeah, it's funny what happens when you don't involve Shane Black.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just pretend that Iron Man 3 didn't happen. So
It was a bad nightmare, Tony.
it's a bad nightmare. Yep, yep, exactly. So yeah, so I thought that overall opening sequence was good. Baron Strucker though kind of was gone a little too quickly. They just knock him out and that's it. I expected a little bit more from him.
Yeah, they just killed him.
They just killed him.
That pissed me
Like,
off.
yeah. But it didn't really bother me that much because, like, I didn't really care for Baron Strucker that much in the comic books. He's just another lackey in Hydra. I'm more of the Baron Zemo guy. Oh God, Baron Zemo. But yeah, just Baron Strucker though, didn't care for as much. So I know you're a huge fan of the actor. Who's the actor?
Thomas Kretschmann, I think is his name.
Thomas Kretschmann. Yeah, I heard you're a big fan of him.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah. I think I've seen him in other stuff too, which I thought was pretty good, and I forget exactly, but yeah, he's a good actor. I did feel he was a bit wasted though. I thought he would have more. So you
He
have
was wasted.
yeah. So pretty much starting this whole plot along. So you have when they're infiltrating Hydra, and they find the spear that Loki had in the first film because Hydra was able to get a hold of that for some reason.
Yeah, did they ever explain that?
None that I know of.
I think they took it, like, out of surprise. Like, they just, like, took it.
Maybe did they even establish? Did they explain that in Agents of Shield at all?
That was years ago.
Right. I have a feeling that they put in some blanks in Agents of Shield. Why that's the case? But
Yeah, maybe they did.
yeah, but if you haven't seen the films, you're scratching. I mean, if you haven't seen the shows, you're probably scratching your head, being like, "How did they get the spear?" But anyway, so Tony finds the spear, and Scarlet Witch sneaks up behind him and freaking just mind numbs Tony's head into seeing this nightmare of a possible future where the aliens are invading the Earth and all the Avengers are killed, and freaking being like, "You could have saved us," and that whole thing, and that sets up the motivation of Tony finding the plans for Ultron and using that technology to create more suits around the world to protect humanity. And then this goes back to our conversation about in the Winter Soldier that, that's not a good idea to have a bunch of these suits flying around because, that could be dangerous to the public and an invasion of our civil rights and stuff like that. But apparently Tony doesn't care because he's so avid on having these suits around.
That's an extremely forced character motivation. I never liked that.
Yeah, I'm like, once again, what is wrong with having the same mentality as the Iron Man in the first film? Like, come on! It's like every film after this is like he's taking things so extreme, or he's making stupid decisions. He's not even thinking about the ramifications of his actions. So it's like this one. It's like and Bruce just goes along with it and helps him create Ultron.
It's about him a lot. He tried to tell him out of it, but he gave up in the middle of the argument. So
yeah, and just and Tony single-handedly makes the villain for this film, Ultron. So like I said, Ultron was great in the comic books. He was very intimidating, even though he is pretty much a machine. But you can tell he has an intimidating presence. He actually has a motivation, and he's a robot. And it's just like you could feel he's one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel universe. I'll say it's kind of convoluted how he's able to become physical form, because he's just a AI, and so he's looking at footage from all over the world from war and all that stuff, and that's creating the motivation for him. But he also has a subconscious, I guess. How did he get a subconscious? And people kept telling me the excuse is, it's because Tony created it, and he has some snarky emotions like Tony. Okay, wait a minute.
But it's a computer.
It's a computer. He didn't mind meld with the AI. He just helped improve the computer system. He didn't actually transfer his mind in there. So that theory doesn't make sense. It's just he has a personality out of nowhere. It's not established why he has a personality. And then his overall motivations, he just looks at some footage and is like, you know what, I'm going to kill humanity now. Now, in
a nutshell, that's what it is. Yeah, that sounds ridiculous.
Yeah. Saying it like that, it sounds really ridiculous, but that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
So that's kind of just out there, and coming back when he does get into his physical form, there's plenty of opportunities to elaborate on his plan, but he's always being he's not being straightforward with it. He's just teasing it, or being you know what, the people did this, so you know what, they don't deserve this, or whatever.
And that always made me angry, because this just comes off as a very generic, oh look, technology and robots are taking over the world because they're viewing humans as, evil. Mm-hmm. So they have to cleanse the world. How many times have we seen that before? And they don't even do it in a good way that makes any sort of sense as to how he could have, gone into the internet or some bullshit, and then he's somehow able to be this, in this robot body. He was just an artificial intelligence in a computer. How is he now, a walking around machine? They don't explain any of this. It's just massive plot holes, and it's just a very cliched character motivation.
And Ken Jarvis did all this because he's
Artificial intelligence.
artificial intelligence too. So couldn't Tony Stark just put him in a body like Ultron did?
By this logic, yes, he should be able to.
Yeah, that's another plot hole for sure. So like I said, starting off when he was just decrepit and weird, that was a scary scene, his intro, and he summons all the robots to fight the Avengers in the tower. It's like, yeah, that's cool. And then you silently hear the Pinocchio theme in the background. I'm like, ooh, yes.
Kind of like a horror movie.
Yes, this is what I want. This is the Ultron I wanted. But when the movie continues, he's just going downhill from there.
Yeah.
And he's in full form as Ultron. I'm like,
it's worse. He looks too human.
Too human. You know, has anyone heard the phrase "less is more"?
Yep. Yeah.
I have once.
Less is more. I know you wanted to have Ultron, not feel as robotic, but
That's the point.
that is the point. Like, what made him scary was the fact that he didn't have emotion on his face. He was just a stagnant robot head. And just but the way he gives off his demeanor, where he's just
It's unsettlingly cold.
Unsettlingly cold. That's the word I'm looking for. That is what it's supposed to be. But Ultron feels like another human being cracking jokes, except he's metal.
That so took me out of it. Oh my gosh, that killed his character for me.
Yeah, it's like. And his personality makes the tone just off balance because you have him doing some dark, twisted things, and then he's cracking jokes right after.
The Andy Serkis thing.
The Andy Serkis thing, where Elysius Claw, who's the villain of Black Panther later on in the franchise, he meets Killian to figure out where the vibranium is with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. And then Claw mentions a comparison to him and Tony, and then freaking a robot gets emotional that he's compared to Stark, and then
He threw a tantrum.
he threw a tantrum and sliced off Claw's arm, and then right after that he's like, I'm sorry, don't worry, that'll heal up. I just can't believe you compare me to Stark, man. I'm like, what am I supposed to feel here? Am I supposed to be scared? Am I supposed to be disgusted? Or am I supposed to be laughing? I don't know.
I feel like they were going for humor, but it just came off as so just
Human.
odd.
It's not even human. It's odd. Because even humans don't act like this. It just is so odd.
It was kind of jarring too. Just boom, he chopped his
arm off.
Whoa.
A family picture. But yeah, it's just his overall mood swings just kept taking me out of the film. When it came to Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, they needed. I didn't at first understand why they're teaming with Ultron. I kind of got their motivation at first because they're explaining how they also have some problems with Stark, because I guess their home was destroyed by the technology, and it was the missiles or something almost killed them or something like that. But I don't know. They just I needed a little bit more from that. And plus it's they should know that Ultron is psychotic. It's there's no benefits from teaming with this robot. I don't think that was a good idea. I mean, I guess that plays to how good Ultron is a manipulator, but when you figure out the plan at the end, of course he's going to wipe out humanity. You think you're going to be alive after all this is happening? No.
Weren't they hypnotized or something? Or
no, they were perfectly sane, and they were teaming with Ultron.
For some reason, I thought someone was controlling their minds.
Oliver
No.
was controlling the doctor's mind, so Ultron can get a new body
Yeah,
with
he
a
was using
soul
the
stone in it.
he was using the Loki spear to mind control people. So
Was he mind? Did he do that on them?
no,
Oh.
He did it with this one girl.
the scientist from the tower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then she
Yeah,
really
so
smart
that's
and
kind of
everything.
stupid motivations for them then.
We need to talk about the collateral damage
Oh yeah,
in
we
this
do.
film.
Which will definitely come up again in Civil
Coming
War.
up in Civil War that people see no problems with, but anyway. So you feel like the Avengers are being less cautious when it comes to the collateral damage, especially when they have that fight in Wakanda and freaking. I'm just gonna talk about it. That Hulk and Hulkbuster fight. What was that?
Wait, what do you mean in Wakanda?
They were in Wakanda.
I guess I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's why Claw's there. Yeah, 'cause they're in Wakanda. But yeah, so that whole fight scene in Wakanda, it was just, oh my gosh. I was ready to see a Hulk versus Hulkbuster fight. That was like the one thing I was excited to see, the biggest thing I was excited for, but man, it was not done that well to me.
Yeah, what again were your problems with it? Because I remember really enjoying that scene.
My first problem is the CGI, which is another problem with this film. The CGI in this film is not done very well. It's not horrible, but you can just tell that stuff feels rubber. You don't feel weight to certain people or whatever action scenes are rendered because it's just flying everywhere and moving so fast. And it's just stuff is not rendered as good as it should. Because comparing to the first Avengers, the CGI in that film, for the most part, it was rendered pretty well. But with this one, you're always taking out the fact that, oh yeah, that's a CGI effect, that's a CGI Ultron. And then that Hulkbuster Hulk fight, the CGI in that fight was all over the place. Because of the CGI being so jumpy and rubbery, I don't feel the weight of the Hulkbuster. Like, I don't feel it being an imposing figure. And they're all jumping and getting thrown around like gummy bears. And which brings us to the other issue, that the collateral damage. It's like, I know Hulk doesn't give a crap. He's going to rampage everywhere. I get that. But Iron Man needs to be a little bit more cautious. Just a little bit more cautious, because he freaking destroys a skyscraper. A freaking skyscraper. And almost put people in the streets, I think, got crushed. People in the streets, I think, got crushed. If it wasn't from Hulk, it was the Hulkbuster. Like, when he was even trying to, use Veronica from a satellite and was using that freaking trap with the lightning and electric stuff and stuff like that, before they even came to the ground, freaking Hulk was throwing trucks and cars in front of civilians. Don't tell me that nobody died in that freaking fight, because people got smushed and killed brutally. But yeah, don't tell me nobody died from that. But even then, the Hulkbuster is getting thrown around like a rag doll. Probably killed a few people. Like, just that overall scene was just unsettling to watch. And on top of that, they want to throw in jokes in that fight. That scene should have been serious and intense. I literally lost the weight of the film because Tony keeps joking around. Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. I know everyone liked that part, but I'm just like, no, I'm not laughing. This is a serious matter. This is Iron Man fighting the Hulk for the first time. The Hulk has gone out of control because Scarlet Witch is like, did a mind numbing thing to his head, which we don't really see. But that's causing him to go out of control. So he should be scared out of his mind facing the Hulk, because you don't know what he's going to do. At the end of the day, the Hulkbuster is not going to defeat the Hulk. It's only there to hold him off. And, like, it's literally a ticking time bomb the moment they start fighting. So, I wanted to feel that weight. I didn't. going back to that trailer, when I saw that trailer with the I know strings, that trailer felt so intense, and that's what the tone I wanted to have for this film. I didn't want it to be funny. That's another thing. The humor in this film felt it felt misplaced. And so,
I'm telling the beginning of massive misplaced humor throughout the franchise.
this is the start for the rest of the franchise that it's going to get. The humor starts getting just feeling misplaced in these films.
Because Guardians was so successful, let's do it for everything.
Exactly. It's like they saw Guardians was so successful and people like funny, so let's put funny in other films that didn't need it. And this is a good example of that. Now, I'll admit there's some scenes that I thought was really good, that I thought the humor worked. The party scene at the Avengers Tower, that whole thing when they're trying to lift Thor's hammer, I thought that whole scene was great. I like those character moments for sure. It felt like vintage Avengers to me. Just overall when they're talking in the party, I thought
that was great.
That was good.
Seeing them go back.
Mm-hmm.
The whole family bit with Barton.
Oh yeah, because after the fight with Hulkbuster, and freaking Hulkbuster is knocking him out off screen, even though he should have been knocked out after being put through a building. But okay, so we're introduced that Falcon has a family.
Hawkeye, yeah.
Hawkeye has a family, wife and 2 kids. Unexpected, really, but I think it was a nice touch. And it's funny because Marvel didn't want Hawkeye to have a family in the movie, but he somehow Joss Whedon was able to fight for that, and I'm glad they did because it gave a little bit more character development for Hawkeye, because I felt like he was not utilized as well as he could have in the Avengers. Well, he was utilized well, but it's just it wasn't as much as the other characters. So I'm glad that they're able to give him something more in this movie. But yeah, I thought the overall humor with that I thought was nice. So they all retreat at Hawkeye's house because after that destruction with Hulkbuster and the Hulk, the public is kind of scared of the Avengers right now. And so they're just going into hiding for right now to figure out their plans to stop Ultron. But meanwhile, Thor goes off on a side mission to go to meet Eric Selvig to find a magic swimming pool in a cave to figure out the visions that Scarlet Witch gave to all the Avengers during that fight with Ultron, which is just a setup for Infinity War with the Infinity Stones. Yeah. That's another problem with this film. This movie's trying to set up for future films when it shouldn't be stopping the movie to do that. It needs to focus on this film. This is the problem we have with Iron Man 2. Yeah, it's just trying to set up for future films, and it doesn't need to do that. With this, and then the Wakanda stuff with Alicia's Claw, there wasn't really, he didn't really have a huge impact in the film. But yeah, it's just like there was not really a point to that whole Thor side mission except here we're going to do Infinity War. Did we learn from the first film? Iron Man 2, the first film was fun. First film did good. But the Iron Man 2, did we not learn from that? Apparently not. So one thing I was hoping that they would go into more, like I said, I wanted this movie to challenge the Avengers, I wanted them to, challenge their camaraderie, their teamwork, and get into more of the psyche of each character. But it didn't really go into it that much, because when Scarlet Witch was mind numbing everyone, you get a glimpse of everyone's tragic backstory with Cap and Black Widow. really. That's like the only ones I really remember.
Mhm.
But yeah, Cap, like, they're alluding to the fact that, you know, he always feels like he has a place, you know, fighting a war or fighting a battle. You feel like that's his only calling to life is just, you know, fighting the good fight. And it's like when the war is over, he doesn't feel like he has a purpose. So that's interesting. And then you have Black Widow, where they highlight, you know, her tragic backstory, you know, training to be an assassin and her not being able to have kids. Oh, I'm sure some feminists were mad about that. And I guess that's kind of the driving force of why people want a Black Widow film. I still don't want a Black Widow film, but I thought that was interesting little highlight there. That's all I needed. I don't need to see her backstory. That little highlight there, that was enough for me.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, I just needed a little bit more conflict between the Avengers. We did get some conflict, but it was mainly because Tony was being stupid. And
Oh, yeah, like usual.
like usual, like you don't really see like a destruction of the team. And it's like you pretty much it's just Cap and Iron Man at each other's throats.
I actually got bored, like, during the mid part of the movie. I don't know, it just kind of slowed down.
It did kind of slow down when they got to Hawkeye's house. At that point, I was just like, this could go along a little faster. And then Ultron has his final form, which just looks ugly.
Yeah.
He looks bloated. And I'm just like, ugh, his final form was just like, I just, no. I would go back to your first form. That was a lot better. He just looks like a bloated pancake. I don't know. I can't think of something good. But just like, I don't like his final form.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
At that point, I lost all intimidation factor from him.
Why? His final form was cool.
No, it wasn't. It was.
What? It wasn't.
It was.
He has this like red eyes, like I'm intimidating, fear me. But also, it has some stupid features.
No, the
like,
puppet in Saw is more intimidating.
Yes,
The puppet
saw. Yes, the puppet is so more intimidating. With the bald hair is really intimidating.
But yeah, so no, Ultron was not working at that point. I didn't care. I was taken out. Oh, one thing they decided to put in here, though, a sudden romance between Bruce and Black Widow.
Yeah, what up with that? It actually makes me angry now since I was shipping Natasha and Steve in Winter Soldier.
That was for like secret spy stuff. Okay, that's not.
Okay, but they still had good chemistry, you know, just going back and forth. That I like wanted them to be a couple.
I mean, Black Widow was more into Bruce than Steve.
But when did we establish
he's
this?
so charismatic.
When did we establish this? Like in the first film, like okay, I get that, you know, they had kind of a connection in the first film there because Black Widow recruited him at first and they were talking stuff out, I guess, but that's literally it.
She wants the green D.
Well, if she wants it, she's probably gonna die.
R.I.P. Black Widow.
Yeah. As they established in the first Incredible Hulk, he can't do it without, you know, hulking out. So yeah. No. I thought the romance between Widow and Banner it was cute, but like you said, it felt like it was coming out of nowhere. And like you could save this, you know, development for somebody else. Like we didn't really need this romance. It's like no, I don't know. I didn't hate it. But it was fine, but it's just like unnecessary. There's just unnecessary stuff in this film, and I thought we learned from Iron Man 2 not to just put in filler and actually try and make this film actually good. But yeah,
It was good.
In some parts. But yeah, so we get to close to the ending where Ultron is making a new body, and apparently for people who know the comic books, it's Vision. Yeah, so Captain didn't know that. But yeah, so that whole thing I felt was a bit rushed too. It was set up nice, but it just turns into the Vision all of a sudden. They steal the body that Ultron was going to use. And then Thor comes back from his pool trip and for some reason Tony is just an idiot. He wants to revive that thing and put Jarvis into Vision
in the first place, bro.
He wanted to put Jarvis.
Oh my gosh, they rushed that so fast. I didn't even know what was happening.
Yeah, they were trying to put Jarvis into Vision for some reason, even though they
trying to rush.
So they can fight.
They rushed the creation of Ultron. They rushed the creation of Vision.
Yeah. Now Vision. Okay, yeah, I don't love Vision in the comic books, but he had some cool stuff in the comic books, and yeah, I was looking forward to seeing what they would do with Vision. But yeah, it's just once again Tony's stupidity, because it's like, why? Like, do you think this is a safe idea to just like reanimate this unknown body and put Jarvis in it? Do you think that's a safe idea? No. But you don't care, I guess. And even Cap's like, you're out of your mind. You need to stop. And even Tony's like, you know what? You need to stop. You ain't going to stop me. And apparently Banner's along with it. He doesn't even question him on that either. Well, he kind of does, but once again, he just goes along with it. Like, come on, Banner. Anyway.
Goodness.
Yeah, so they have a little tussle with, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in there too, because eventually they turn to good because they understand that Ultron is a psychopath and trying to kill humanity. So
Took you that long
to find out. But anyway, so they have a little tussle, and then Thor comes back from his pool trip and uses his lightning powers to resurrect Vision.
And then somebody attacks Vision and it goes bam in the window. Oh look, there's a fly.
Yeah, so apparently Thor's lightning can do anything. It can put Iron Man's suit to 200%, and then he can revive Vision. So lightning can do anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
People get killed by it.
Now, Vision himself, I thought was cool. I liked his design. I liked his demeanor. Yeah, I wish they kept this overall character interpretation for the rest of the films, because I feel like he's starting to lose me after this. We'll get into that when we talk about Civil War, but like when he was on screen, I was like, yep, that's Vision. Pretty good. It is a bit convoluted how you got revived, but you know what? I still like you as Vision. And then he just creates a cape because he sees Thor has a cape. Like,
that'd be cool too.
Like, yeah, okay.
Next up, beard. The glorious beard. Oh, yes.
Androids can't have beards!
Yes, they can! If they could believe in themselves and grow beards!
Yeah, anyway, so they all team together. Oh, that's a funny thing. So, in the beginning of the film, nobody could lift Thor's hammer because none of them are worthy. But you see Vision just picks up Thor's hammer and it's like, okay, yep, we're with you. You're worthy. That was a nice touch.
Does it mean Vision's the new king of Asgard?
That's a good point. That is a good point. And they hold the power of Thor technically. Oh my god, I didn't think of that.
Oh yeah, I'm smarty.
Like, shouldn't he have the powers of Thor? But I guess he's an android, so there's a loophole in that. I don't know. Oh god.
Fan fiction, yes.
Anyway, we get to the final battle, and this was not as exciting as the final battle in the first Avengers.
Yeah.
No, it's just... Yeah, the first film had some, droneless aliens, but, that was more exciting than just fighting, potato chip robots.
Potato chips.
Because they get crushed like potato chips. It's like you don't feel the weight of the Ultron bots, because they just get killed like that.
But Taris, they actually took time to kill.
Yeah. So, yeah, that whole scene in Sokovia, that was just dragging on and on. It's just fighting robots here, fighting robots there.
Fighting robots everywhere.
And then we get to Ultron's insane plan, taking a chunk of land, rising it up into the stratosphere, and plummeting down to the Earth, destroying humanity.
That is the stupidest plan I ever heard. I mean, it's like Despicable Me 3. He's trying to pull the middle of the Hollywood up into space. That is super stupid. I mean, what the heck, bro?
Yeah. Going back to the comic books, or if you guys watched the TV show Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, because that Ultron in that show
It was actually decent.
it was great. But his overall plan was the Ultron bots that doesn't get killed very easily invades the entire world and kills whoever is in plain sight, just like, and freaking invades like freaking Nazis, like all the bots just invading the entire country. That's more intimidating. That's more scary. Like this whole thing about taking a chunk of land and destroying the Earth, that's just ridiculous. Because first of all, getting into science real quick, if you do that, won't you completely destroy the Earth? Where would you go after that?
It would just create I think it would just create like a huge enough ripple, an earthquake, that like everything would get demolished. But the planet wouldn't get destroyed, but it would. Yeah, but it would just. It's kind of like if a massive meteor was to hit the Earth, if it was big enough, then they would have the same effect. It would just kill everyone.
Yeah. I just felt like that plan was just so out there, though. It's just like, where did you come up with this thing? But
did you watch Despicable Me 3?
This is not Despicable Me 3. This is Age of Ultron.
It's like Despicable 3. It's Battlestar robot trying to pull a chunk of Hollywood into space. I mean, it's kind of like that, but it's going down and killing everybody.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just, that was really silly. So yeah, the whole fight in Sokovia just wasn't doing it for me. It wasn't exciting. I don't know if it's because we've already seen them team up for the first time, so the magic of them fighting again for the first time wasn't really there. But then again, when they all fight together against the Ultron bots, that was great.
That was like the first
That
movie.
was exciting. When they're all panning around the Avengers fighting the robots, that was great. So that's not awesome. The case. But just overall, yeah, I just wish that we had more moments of that, because that overall scene was great. And then you had the scene where Thor and Iron Man and Vision are using their lasers to
disintegrate Ultron,
yeah,
the most coolest way possible.
Yeah, I wonder why they stopped doing that. I wish they.
Yeah, it was like, keep doing
that. No, keep doing it.
Keep doing it. Don't stop.
When Iron Man and Vision and Thor were shooting their lasers at Ultron, and it's like, oh man, that's really awesome. Something out of a comic book, and then they just stop. Yeah.
Don't stop. Just let this movie be over shortly. I mean, just kill him.
Yeah, but no, you have to save room for Hulk just sucker punching him.
And then later he gets into a jet, and then the most saddest part in the movie for me, the most saddest part is where. Can I?
Yeah, you can say it.
That Quicksilver dies. I mean, I feel like they could done a lot of stuff with him in the future.
Yeah, they killed him off too soon.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff in the future. I wanted him to be the greatest hero in the world. When they allow people to die, or when their contract is expired, they had to get rid of him somehow, in the movie they or die. He Hawkeye, but he came back for some reason.
Get retired by a Blade Runner.
But I feel like they killed him off because they have two Quicksilvers running around, so it's like, I guess
Sweet dreams.
they didn't want to get
Wait,
confused.
couldn't Quicksilver just do like the Quicksilver in the Avengers Apocalypse, just pull the bullets away?
That's actually a good point. I think there could have been 5 other ways for him to save Hawkeye instead
And that
of
kid.
yes, instead of putting his body in danger. Like if he's fast enough, couldn't he dodge the bullets himself?
Yeah, that's stupid.
Why can't he like avoid the bullets like Quicksilver?
Lame.
Yeah, you didn't see that coming.
You didn't see that coming. Oh.
No, it's just I guess it's just Joss Whedon that wants to just kill people.
That's
Yeah,
his,
like,
that's his staple.
That's his
I mean, that's what you want. You want
Gotta
some
kill
people
someone.
to actually die instead of like fake dying,
Which
right?
brings us to my other issue, which is also plays a factor in future films. I don't like that they're killing people off and then they just bring them back to life later. Which is why I had a problem with Agent Coulson in the first film coming back in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because him dying was actually a motivation for the Avengers teaming up and putting differences aside. And that whole tragedy is just thrown away because you're coming back to life with alien stuff. So that in the back of my mind is still bothering me. Now I'm not taking anything away from the show because I'm sure in the context of the show he's good. But it's just I wish they just kept him dead so they can keep that that motivation alive.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean. But yeah, so I wish we just had more of those great moments like when they're partying in the tower or
Party. Mm-hmm.
or when the Avengers are working together as a unit. That stuff was great. That's what reminded me of the first Avengers. That's why this is what keeps this movie from being, completely bad to me because there are glimpses of the first film in this movie, but there's too much happening in this movie. It's not cohesive. The villain is all over the place. It's totally inconsistent. The CGI just does not work in places. And this movie is so worried about setting up for future films when it should have been worrying about this film. Talking about setting up for future films, they have another Avengers facility where they're training for new Avengers. Oh, and guess who's in the new lineup? We have Scarlet Witch, we have Vision, we have War Machine, and we have Falcon.
That's all not Wiccan, Hawkling, all the classic new Avengers. Like, I wanted to see them, but you can't because they're, I don't know.
But anyway, it's like, so one thing felt odd with that lineup because War Machine, he actually played a factor towards the end. He actually helped at the ending.
But Falcon, where did he come from?
Yeah, where did he come from? Like, he even establishes in the beginning of the film, like, you know what, I don't want to be an Avenger. Your world is crazy. And then he doesn't show up in the ending fight, and then
You just showed her gambling and ending. I mean, is it right to I love my Falcon scenes, but
Yeah, I always thought that was weird. Like, oh, what a lineup! You got 4 people who are already are established.
yeah,
You're not even gonna throw some new people in there.
yeah. I think they wanted to put someone like Spider-Man in there, but I don't think they had the rights to him just yet. So
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting anything too big yet, but I'm fine with this team up. I'm just Falcon just seemed out of place because he didn't even help in the final act. If he actually came in and is like, you know what, I'm actually want to help because Cap's my friend and I want to save the world. Okay, but he's just joining the team out of nowhere, even though he established this he doesn't want to be a superhero. So I'm like, I don't know. That's kind of inconsistent to me.
maybe Steve convinced him to be a superhero.
Oh, and this other thing where the Hulk, after he steals the jet that Ultron was in,
He flew off.
he flew off somewhere.
Zoom by Earth. I'm gonna go to make a whole nother movie with my buddy Thor. Goodbye.
Yeah, so the jet can go in space, I guess. That was weird. Yeah, don't know. That was just really weird. I don't know.
I
what to
mean,
say
remember
about
the
that.
space jet for Avengers Assemble in the TV show? That is kind of it, but without the paint job.
Yeah. So, Yeah, and Ultron gets his heart ripped out by Scarlet Witch. Wait, Ultron.
Couldn't he just did it the first time that we realized it?
Well, they could, but at the end of the day, he could still rebuild himself because he has Ultron bots everywhere, and he was connected to the internet. But Vision actually helped to stop him from being connected from the internet, so that was the final straw.
Like killing one bot.
Stupid.
Yeah. And I didn't know Ultron had a heart.
Oh yeah! I didn't know he had a heart!
A metal heart. And
Stupid.
just brutally rips the heart out of him.
Maybe it's just like circuits make him work.
Like,
chicka.
what is the tone of this film?
Is it like human Ultron?
Yeah, Human Ultron.
Yes, that's what they should have called it. Avengers, Human Ultron.
Yeah, this movie's a mess, but I don't hate the film. There's things that I think they did better than the first movie, but overall, as a film, it's just too much going on, and I thought they learned from it, but yeah, just not working. And there was one end credit scene this time, and it was Thanos getting his gauntlet from his chambers and being like, "Fine, I'll do it myself."
Wait, does he have future vision? Because he planned to see in the future. Did he watch a creep, watching the whole battle with the Avengers? How does he fine, I'll do it myself? Is he pondering about the Infinity Stones? One lackey traded on him. He eventually died. So does he react on that, saying, "Fine, I'll do it myself," since everybody get killed while I get the Infinity Stones? Well, that doesn't make any sense.
That's actually a good point. Who is he talking to? What is he reacting to? Did he watch the whole film and be like, "You know what? Fine, I'll do it myself"?
Yeah, how is he watching?
It's is he
Space somehow?
is he reacting to Ronan dying? We don't know.
Was that a mid or an end?
That was a mid credit scene.
There was no end credits?
No.
Oh.
Fine,
Yeah.
I'll do it myself.
Yep.
Was he watching a movie from the TV or something?
There was a thing going online saying that the second end credit scene was Spider-Man, because there was this fake end credit scene that was on the internet being Spider-Man was on a building, and there was this guy cleaning the building on a skyscraper, and in the background you see the Avengers Tower, and the Spider-Man's like, "Hey, you missed the spot." That looked really convincing too. Yeah, you could just look it up.
Oh.
Fake
That's-
Spider-Man end credit scene.
Will be
Yeah.
amazing.
That would actually fit too, because Spider-Man Homecoming comes soon, and he's going to be in Civil War, so that could have worked.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just that
I
scene.
want to
I
talk
thought it
about
was fine.
Homecoming, but it's not time yet.
Yeah, it's not time yet. Next week we will.
Next
But yeah,
week.
so overall that's our thoughts on Age of Ultron. No, we didn't give grades, so I give Avengers Age of Ultron a C+.
C plus. Oh wait, that's actually good. That's actually a B.
Yeah, like I said, there's some really good scenes in this movie, and there's some great interactions with the Avengers, but overall I just felt the story was all over the place. Captain Eagle.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Give it a C+. It's above average, but yeah, definitely not as great as the first one or some of the other movies in the franchise. Kind of a bummer.
Yeah. Colin.
Yeah, it's a bummer, but I love most of the scenes. I love the part when they go to a little circle and feed them. I love the part when they were partying and all that stuff. But I give it a B minus. Yeah, B minus.
B minus.
Yes.
Alright. Now, that was almost an hour conversation of
It was
Avengers
hour?
Age of Ultron. Yep.
We usually do everything. We usually do 30 minutes.
Yeah, we had a lot to say about this one. But yeah. So that's our overall thoughts on that.